They say the most terrifying monsters don't hide under your bed. Sometimes, they live in your home. And for the Smurl family of West Pittston, Pennsylvania, their dream house became a nightmare so disturbing, investigators would later call it a house possessed. In 1974, Jack and Janet Smurl moved into a modest duplex with their 4 daughters. At first, life was ordinary. Children playing in the backyard, neighbors waving from across the street, the warmth of a fresh start. But almost immediately, the house began to resist them. Water stains bled through newly painted walls. Appliances sparked and caught fire without reason. At night, footsteps echoed in empty rooms. Then came the whispers, faint at first, then louder, as though unseen voices were gathering strength. The atmosphere inside the duplex turned oppressive. Janet would catch icy drafts sweeping through sealed windows. Jack claimed to smell sulfur that clung only to him. Their daughters felt unseen fingers tugging at their blankets while they slept. Even the family dog began growling at empty corners, refusing to enter certain rooms. Weeks turned to months, and the disturbances escalated. Loud crashes shook the house. Shadowy figures appeared in mirrors. Janet swore she saw a tall, gaunt entity with glowing red eyes standing silently in her bedroom doorway. The family was no longer merely unsettled, they were under siege. Then came the physical assaults. Jack described being shoved, scratched, even bitten by invisible hands. Janet claimed she was levitated above her bed. Their daughters were pinned down at night, paralyzed with terror. One spirit reportedly taunted them with guttural growls that rattled the walls. Neighbors, too, began to whisper. Some claimed they heard screams and banging coming from the duplex, even when the Smurls weren't home. Others avoided the family altogether, uneasy about the darkness surrounding the house. Desperate, Jack and Janet reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators who would later tackle cases like Amityville and the Conjuring House. Lorraine entered the home and immediately declared it infested by not one, but several spirits, some human, some inhuman. Among them lurked something far worse, a demon, intelligent, mocking, and intent on tearing the family apart. The Warrens attempted exorcisms, prayers, and blessings, but every effort only seemed to provoke the entity. Objects flew violently across rooms. The stench of rot seeped from the walls. Lorraine herself claimed to hear voices threatening to drag the family into hell. For over a decade, the Smurls lived under this torment. Newspapers picked up their story, but skeptics dismissed it as hysteria or fabrication. Perhaps that's why the Smurl haunting has been overshadowed by more famous cases, because many refused to believe such relentless evil could infest a normal family home. But for the Smurls, disbelief changed nothing. They endured until 1989, when a final church-sanctioned exorcism was performed. And though the activity reportedly lessened, the scars, physical and emotional, remained for the rest of their lives. Even now, the story of the Smurl family lingers like a warning. A haunting so violent, so personal, that it forces us to ask, what if the monsters aren't outside, but waiting quietly inside our walls? So, the next time you hear a knock in the night, or a shadow shifts where none should be, remember the Smurls. Because sometimes, the scariest hauntings aren't the ones Hollywood made famous, but the ones it tried to forget.